welcome to the final session of Unit 1. And in this session, we are going to look at effective instruction. My name is Patrick Eji. Now, at the end of this session, you should be able to explain syntax of a discipline and identify Shulman's three categories of content knowledge. Then explain what Shulman by content knowledge of a subject and pedagogical content knowledge of a subject. Now let's look at the syntax of a discipline. And when we talk about the syntax of a discipline, it simply refers to the set of ways scientists use to establish the truth or the falsehood, the validity or the invalidity of new or existing knowledge claims. So the various procedures that scientists will use to establish the truthfulness or the falsehood of a claim or of a knowledge is what is being referred to as the syntax of a discipline. And for science teachers, we know we use inquiry, introduce students to the processes of obtaining new knowledge. And they can obtain knowledge through observation, through hypothesis, as well as experimentation. And students also gain understanding that knowledge must be evaluated. So, although students are able to obtain knowledge through observation, through hypothesis, and through experimentation, they must also understand the syntax of the discipline. They must understand whether the knowledge that they gain through observation, through hypothesis or experimentation was true or it was false. They should be able to establish the validity or invalidity of that knowledge. So what are the categories of content knowledge according to Shulman? And so according to Shulman, he identified three categories of content knowledge. And these are the subject matter knowledge, the pedagogical knowledge, and the curricular knowledge. So these are the three categories of content knowledge according to Shulman. Now let's look at what Shulman means by subject matter knowledge. So the subject matter knowledge is more than information and facts about a discipline. So it's not just about having information, having facts about physics alone, no. But this knowledge, according to Joseph Schwab, is what he termed as substantive and syntactic structures of a substantial knowledge. And it is an understanding of the different ways the basic concepts and principles of a discipline are organized. So the subject matter talks about the teacher's understanding of the various ways in which the various concepts in the physics syllabus are being organized. And it includes the major conceptual schemes in your discipline, and here our discipline is physics, as well as the major ideas you should identify as the basic structure of the discipline. So since our discipline is physics, you should be able to identify the basic structure of this discipline. What of pedagogical content knowledge according to Shulman? And this describes the depth and breadth of knowledge a teacher has about teaching a particular subject. The depth, so the degree, the extent of coverage. If I want to tackle a topic, to what extent must I teach this topic? What are the key things in this topic that I must ensure that students are able to, understand them or they are able to learn them? So this talks about the teacher's depth and breadth of knowledge about teaching the subject. And here our subject is physics. And this knowledge also talks about the capacity of the teacher to formulate and represent science in ways that makes it comprehensible to learners. You are able to present science in ways that students are able to learn and understand. And examples of pedagogical knowledge include forms of representing concepts, so such as the use of analogies, the use of examples, illustrations, the use of demonstrations. All these are ways of presenting information to learners. And another dimension of pedagogical content knowledge is the understanding of what makes a concept easy or difficult for a learner to learn. So as a teacher, you should be able to identify the various barriers that or a particular concept difficult to the learner. And when your ability to do this will depend on your pedagogical content knowledge. Now, what of the curricular knowledge? And we know that science curriculum includes a full range of materials which science teachers should be similar. So we have the science curriculum, we have the syllabus, and as a teacher, you must be aware of the syllabus. That is the physics syllabus, the teaching syllabus that we have. You must have an in-depth knowledge about the various syllabi that we have at the senior high school level. And these materials are designed for a particular subject at a particular level, and it is supposed to be used with particular students. So even when you are presented with the physics syllabus, you realize that it has an arrangement of the various topics you are to cover. The teacher should be able to know at each level the kind of concept or topic that he or she will treat with his or her learners. And each discipline also has its own textbooks, kinds of laboratory equipment, and educational softwares, films, film strips, demonstrations. All these are materials that are related to every discipline. So in physics, we have various textbooks that we use. And as a teacher, your knowledge about the physics curriculum should be able to let you know whether the content of a particular textbook is good for use or not. You should be abreast with the various laboratory equipment in the physics lab. You should know how to operate the various apparatus that we have in the lab. All these are things about the curriculum that you, the teacher, you must have knowledge about. And the curriculum knowledge also extends to science teachers' abilities to relate topics of study to the curricula their students may be studying in other disciplines. So, we know that in physics, for instance, you are teaching gas laws. Gas laws are also present in chemistry, and as a teacher, you should have knowledge in the content in chemistry when it comes to gas laws and that of the content in physics concerning the same topic. And so here, curricular knowledge encompasses a horizontal and a vertical understanding of both school and science curricula, how the various topics are being arranged, the relationship of the topics in physics with other subjects. The teacher must have knowledge in all these areas. Now, students, in this session, we looked at the syntax of a discipline, and we saw that they are the ways that scientists will use to test whether a knowledge or a claim is true or not, or it is valid or not valid. And we also look at the categories of content knowledge as identified by Shulman. Now, as we bring the session to an end, let us take this as a take home. What is syntax of a discipline, and what categories of content knowledge did Shulman identify? Write down your answers. I'm going to take your answers in the next session.